Now on Coast TV News.
Wet Winter Wednesday. After a stretch of a dry period, Delmarva is waking up to snow flurries.
A little light snow passed through the overnight, left a dusting across some parts of Delmarva. We'll have some slick spots this morning, looking at a partly sunny day, but I'm tracking an Arctic blast for the weekend.
Plus, crossing cancellations, how icy conditions are affecting the schedules of not one, but two well-known local ferries.
And council seat scrutiny. Why the issue over one former candidate's and one current member's residency in Ocean City has created a controversy.
This is Coast TV News Today.
It is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for being up with us during this 5 o'clock hour.
Grace walked out to snow flurries this morning. Should not be a shock. Chris called it yesterday.
The F word, which is so exciting to have, to wake up to a little flurry. Was it a nice cute
Yeah, no, it was,
for you?
yeah. You could see the little dusting on the truck. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris said it was pretty cold, so it was going to stay. But now, as people are waking up today and the sun's going to come out, I don't think it's going to stay.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how warm we get. Let's go to First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. He's in the Weather Center. Chris, a little dusting this morning. Not a bad way to wake up to a Wednesday.
Oh, not too bad out there. Good morning, Matt and Grace. Plus, good morning, Delmarva. That snow is already offshore. We're just left with a few light flurries across Sussex County, but not everyone saw the snow, not everyone got a dusting, but you stepping outside the door this morning, you'll see a little dusting on the grass and the sidewalk and your car. So take it easy this morning. Temperatures are right around 33 degrees in Ocean City, but you can see we're kind of hovering right around that freezing mark. 31 in Redden, 30 in Harrington. We're at 32 in Laurel. So there are going to be some slick spots out there this morning, so use caution. Good news is we're not dealing with much of a wind chill out there because winds are relatively calm. So see a few slick spots here through the morning. Other than that, we have the blue light here. We're seeing dry conditions through the afternoon. Day, we get up to about 37 degrees, so not terribly bad, under partly sunny skies. We'll talk about, unfortunately, the return of sub-zero wind chills over the weekend. I'll have details on that here in a few minutes.
Guess if we have to talk about that, we will, Chris. All right, thank you. Our top story this hour is what we are seeing on our roads. As Chris mentioned, just a couple parts of Delmarva experienced those flurries overnight.
And giving us a look outside in our First Alert weather Jeep is Elisa Weber. And Elisa, the temperature is outside. It's warmer, but there's still a concern about ice.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. We are driving on Cave Neck Road right now. There's a little bit of flurries outside. You can see them. Yes, Grace, as you mentioned, it's a little warmer this morning, 30 degrees. Wow, feels like summertime outside in comparison to last week. But in terms of road conditions, these flurries, they're not sticking on the roadways. We are not having any trouble with traction on the roads, which is really good news. In terms of ice and snow buildup, that's what we've been seeing for the past week here on coastal Delmarva. It's just something you need to keep in mind when you're in parking lots. Yesterday we had a warmer day, stuff did start to melt, but as those temperatures dropped this morning, we could expect everything to freeze back over a little bit, so just be mindful as you are walking and driving. But in terms of the conditions outside right now, just a little bit of flurries. They're really light in comparison to around 3 o'clock this morning when we all were heading into work, so that is a good sign. So hopefully around the 7 o'clock hour when more people are out and during rush hour this morning, this will all be going away. We'll have more updates for you later on. Back to you.
Looking forward to that. Lisa, thanks. New this morning, in Ocean City, the dispute over the residency status for one of its council members. That's the subject of a special meeting that's taking place later today.
And the issue has its roots in the 2024 election when the council disqualified Leslie Smith from running.
The council claimed her residency didn't meet requirements to run for office. According to council, a member must live in Ocean City for at least 4 months before an election.
Now, Smith claims Tony DeLuca, who won one of those council seats, also did not qualify because he too did not meet the residency requirements.
I ultimately don't feel as though someone who is not living here full time should be making decisions that affect the citizens that do live here full time.
And after our initial reporting last month, we received this statement from DeLuca, quote, "I'm aware of Miss Smith's challenge to my residency. I have nothing to hide, and I look forward to the mayor and city council giving me the opportunity to address the matter openly and candidly. I will rely on the city solicitor and the city manager as the best next steps forward, bringing this matter to a conclusion."
Smith says that she plans to run for the Ocean City Council again in 2028. That special meeting is scheduled for this afternoon at 1 p.m. Happening today, Taros Village, which is a tent community for the homeless off Route 1 in Lewis, is going before the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission. From March 15th to December 1st, the area is filled with tents and other amenities. But after the season, organizers say they must pack everything up. Organizers of the village are requesting a change to the current conditional use ordinance so that they can keep items there during the off-season. The Planning and Zoning meeting takes place this afternoon at 3 p.m.
Cancellations continue for the Cape May Lewis ferry. Here is video that we got from earlier this week of the Delaware Bay, completely frozen over. Ferry is announcing that again, trips scheduled for this morning not taking place. This is the 8:45 a.m. departure from Lewis. Also earlier, the 7 a.m. departure from Cape May. Director of the ferry, Heath Gerke, says tugboats continue to work to help resume operations.
Also, the Woodland Ferry will be closed today. That's according to DelDOT. The ferry will be closed due to the weather conditions.
We're now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. President Trump says the federal government should be in charge of elections, taking over a role that the Constitution grants to the states. Democrats are sounding warning bells while Republicans try to clarify what the president meant.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us how this relates to claims about the 2020 election.
When you said that you should nationalize elections.
President Trump doubling down.
I want to see elections be honest.
On controversial comments out this week in a podcast with his former deputy FBI director.
The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting.
Democrats calling that an assault on the Constitution, which dictates that the states run elections.
This is more dangerous autocratic poison from Donald Trump.
Top Republicans in the House.
It's always been the responsibility of the states to administer elections.
And Senate also calling this a constitutional issue while pointing to the SAVE Act, a Republican bill requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote that the White House said President Trump was referencing.
Ensuring that only citizens of this country vote in our elections, that's something I think we all agree with.
It's already illegal for non-citizens to vote in federal and state elections. It all comes as President Trump continues to falsely assert the debunked claim that the 2020 election was stolen through widespread fraud. In a dramatic escalation, the FBI last week raided a Fulton County, Georgia election center, seizing ballots and other records related to the 2020 election. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard observed the raid, and two sources say she facilitated President Trump speaking by phone directly to FBI agents involved in the search, sparking more outrage among Democrats as a senior administration official pointed to Gabbard's role in election security. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Delaware State Police say 28-year-old Jesus Palacio Hernandez of Selbyville is facing charges after they arrested him for murdering a family member. Here's where police say a 71-year-old woman was found dead in a ditch behind a home on Pinto Drive. DSP says Palacio Hernandez assaulted her, then moved her body outside. According to the agency, she was found by family members while troopers responded. Delaware State Police say Palacio Hernandez is charged now with first-degree murder.
New this morning, possible upgrades for parks in Millsboro. According to its agenda, the Parks Committee is expected to discuss a plan for revitalizing the town's parks. Committee is also set to review possible survey questions and then decide which ones to use. Millsboro's Parks Committee is meeting in just a few hours from now at 9:30 a.m.
And we're just getting started here on this hour of Coast TV News Today.
Coming up on Coast TV News Today, Assateague Island erosion, how recent storms are creating changes for visitors in the area.
Also, Ocean City Inlet study, why Worcester County officials say they want to keep this area on the federal radar.
Still ahead, Camp Rehoboth exhibition, when people can view photographs from local artists in a wide range of styles. There we see First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono in the Weather Center and those overnight flurries. He's working on what we can expect as we head towards sunrise. We check in with Chris next.
Good Wednesday morning, Delmarva. Waking up to some wet roads in Salisbury. The main road's doing pretty well. We had a little light snow overnight, dropped about a dusting across the area. We're at the freezing mark, and there's that moisture already offshore, and some of those untreated roads and sidewalks waking up to some coatings out there. And there's a little light snow across Roanoke. That's going to push to the south of the peninsula. We're at 32 in Georgetown, 33 in Lewis, and we are looking at dry conditions through the day today. Partly sunny skies. We get up into the mid-30s. I'll have a frigid weekend forecast here in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. New this morning, a new photography exhibition at Camp Rehoboth is putting the spotlight on one powerful image from each artist. The exhibition, that's called Best Shot, features photographs from more than 20 members of the Coastal Camera Club. The show includes fine art photography, along with images of nature, wildlife, and everyday life. People can attend an opening reception Saturday, February 7th from 3 to 5 p.m. at Camp Rehoboth. And to learn more about the exhibit and what to expect, you can head to the article on our website, coasttv.com.
Ocean City Fire Department has sworn in a new fire chief. There is Josh Bunting. He was previously a volunteer firefighter. He also served as an Ocean City fire marshal.
Bahama Breeze closing its doors after 30 years in business. Tuesday, parent company Darden Restaurants said it will shut down the Caribbean-themed chain's remaining 28 locations in the coming months. Matt Pensick is shaking his head next to me. Half will close outright, while the others will be converted into different owned brands. And the move follows earlier closures and talks about a possible sale. Final day for Bahama Breeze, April 5th.
I like Bahama Breeze. All right, today marks 20 years since Facebook launched. Mark Zuckerberg was a Harvard University sophomore when he introduced the social networking site to fellow students. What began as a campus-only website quickly expanded beyond colleges and beyond all expectations. Facebook buried early rivals like MySpace and Friendster. Grace, you don't even know about MySpace, do you?
I don't know what that is.
Facebook currently reaches more than 2 billion users every day. Chris, MySpace?
Oh yeah, I used to post my weather forecasts on MySpace. I didn't even know it's for music. As we take a line, well, dealing with some slick conditions out there this morning, a dry day overall, but the big story, yeah, the return of Arctic air over the weekend. Unfortunately, we'll talk about it after the break.
Time is 5:16, and you are looking live at those waves rolling up along the Ocean City coast. And Chris Mastrobono's back with us. Chris, this morning, we had a brief cameo appearance by snow.
That's right. We had a little light snow overnight while everybody was sleeping, so maybe we have to brush some snow off that windshield this morning. A little coating there on some untreated surfaces. We just have a few flurries now pushing through Sussex County. We're drying out. Another little area of some snow pushing through Roanoke. That's going to stay to our south here, but we're looking pretty dry today. This area of low pressure is going to kick off to our south. We're going to see some snow across the Carolinas tonight, but that's going to remain to the south of the peninsula. We're at 33, so we're above the freezing mark in Ocean City, but you can see some areas away from the coast hovering right at or just below the freezing mark. So some slick spots are possible this morning, so use some caution out there. Winds are calm, so not much of a wind chill this morning. We're going to get up to about 37 this afternoon under partly sunny skies. So a mix of sun and clouds through the afternoon. 36 in Lewis, 36 in Cambridge, 37 in Vienna, 41 in Pocomoke City. So there's the partly sunny skies through the afternoon. Tonight, a much colder night. We'll dip into the upper teens to lower 20s into Thursday. Thursday, a colder day. Despite sunny skies, a north to northeasterly wind will keep temperatures mostly in the upper 20s to lower 30s. I think we're going to struggle to get to the freezing mark tomorrow. 34 into Friday, and then the bottom drops out as we go into the weekend. We're back into the 20s, and that's thanks to an Arctic front. So we'll see a chance of some light snow, I think, by late Friday afternoon through Friday evening time frame, and potentially some snow squalls as this cold front pushes through the region. Behind it, it turns tremendously windy into the day on Saturday. We have an area of low pressure that's going to be developing and strengthening offshore. At the same time, a high pressure system is going to be building in. You get that tight pressure gradient producing the strong winds. We could have wind gusts in excess of 40 to near 50 miles an hour Saturday, and it's going to produce wind chills like this. It's going to feel like 6 below Georgetown by Saturday afternoon, and then the brunt of those wind chills come in Sunday morning, feeling as low as -12. So I'll have to keep a close eye on that through the weekend. 23 into Super Bowl Sunday, mostly sunny skies. We're at 28 on Monday. The good news is the Arctic blast coming this weekend won't be lasting a week long. We're back up to 41 by Tuesday.
Thank you, Chris. Worcester County officials are hoping federal experts will take a new look at the Ocean City inlet system. This would begin the process of updating a water resources study, a study that hasn't been done since 1998. County commissioners approved sending a letter to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers explaining concerns raising from flooding and storm impacts to navigation and sand movement.
The county puts money toward it, and the Ocean City puts money toward it, and the state and federal. Yeah. So hopefully we can get enough to keep the beach there, basically.
Worcester County officials say the effort is a key step to keep the inlet on the federal radar as budgets are debated.
Growth on the coast. We know it's a big issue. We have growing pains because everyone wants to live here. But that comes at a cost. Roads, infrastructure development, a loss of open space, all of that creates conflict and concerns.
CoastTV has investigated all the deep-seated issues that brought us to where we are today, and tonight, join us for a 1-hour special to help you understand the price of paradise, growth on the coast. Up next, Assateague Island erosion, how leaders plan to address the huge drop-off after damage from the recent storms. CoastTV News Today is back after this.
Recent storms haven't been too kind to Assateague State Park shoreline. Just take a look at these videos from yesterday showing erosion and drop-offs. They go up and down 10 feet in some places. Park officials say a lot of this sand is frozen too, leaving it to fall off in heavy chunks. They've had to close a couple of park entrances due to the drop-offs, and some surfers say they hope the spots are patched up by the summer season.
We're only a few months away from the busy season here, so as more people start to come here and use the beach, if it hasn't righted itself by then yeah, I would say. So yeah, they'll probably need to bring in some sand there.
And the park superintendent says they'll watch the eroded sections over the coming weeks and fix up any spots that need it before the busy season. She also asked visitors to use the main entrance and not to get too close to those drop-offs.
Some of us waking up to a light dusting of snow on Delmarva this morning as we take a live look into Ocean City. 33 degrees there, so we are above the freezing mark, and we're going to hover right around the freezing mark here this morning. But a pretty pleasant afternoon under partly sunny skies. Winds are going to remain relatively calm throughout the day. A little cooler than where we were yesterday, with highs reaching the mid-30s from Lewis into Rehoboth. Cambridge, we're up to 36 by around noon, 38 into Crisfield under a mix of sun and clouds. Congratulations to Ruth Schickley of Lewis, Delaware on winning an umbrella from CoastTV. Coming up, though, we'll talk about some wind chills dipping below the 0 mark for the weekend. Coming up in the next half hour.
And after the break on CoastTV News Today, search for Nancy Guthrie. What new information police are sharing in the investigation for the disappearance of the mother of Today Show host.
Also, Ocean City Council special meeting. What sparked town officials there to look into qualifications of one council member?
Plus, Taros Village agreement, what organizers of the tent community are looking for the homeless, and what they're asking today in front of the Sussex County leaders. CoastTV News Today continues after the break.
Now on CoastTV News.
And a little light snow passed through the overnight, left a dusting across some parts of Delmarva. We'll have some slick spots this morning, looking at a partly sunny day, but I'm tracking an Arctic blast for the weekend.
Plus, cold road conditions. With snow flurries in the morning hours, we show you what we are seeing on our streets.
Plus, tent community debate.
And we intend to bring in electricity so that we can charge devices for our guests.
Why that is a key part of the zoning request in Sussex County for an area that provides aid for the homeless.
And seat status showdown, how the issue of residency has forced a special meeting for the Ocean City Council later today.
This is CoastTV News Today.
February 4th, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Matt. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Grace Eckerly.
5:28 a.m. I've got something here that Chris will appreciate on a couple of levels, so hear me out.
Okay.
8 years ago today, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I was there in Minneapolis. That morning, the wind chill factor, minus 23 degrees.
Yikes. And so you actually, a little behind the scenes secret, you were wearing the same tie.
It just came up on Facebook.
The same tie.
Yeah, I was covering it for our sister station, WBOC. Same purple tie that day. And I'm wearing it
I
today.
think that begs the question, have you washed it since?
I don't wash ties. Maybe I'm wrong on that one.
Okay. All right. Now
Chris
turning it over.
Chris
First
is a
alert
fashionista. Maybe you can help us out on that one. I got a lot going on when I toss this to you, Chris.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I think I may have dry cleaned a tie before, but don't put it in the washer. I wouldn't recommend that. We had a little light snow overnight. I dropped a dusting across some areas and some untreated surfaces. You'll see that on your windshield this morning, so you may have to brush that snow off. Few leftover flurries pushing over Lewis and Rehoboth. Other than that, we are drying out across the area. We are at the freezing mark in Salisbury, so temperatures are hovering just at or below the freezing mark the further inland you go. We're at 31, Bridgeville 32 in Millsboro, so some slick spots are possible, especially on those untreated surfaces. The good news is not much of a wind chill once again this morning because those winds are pretty calm across the area. Now we get up to the mid-30s this afternoon under a mix of sun and clouds, so partly sunny skies today, and then we'll fall to 31 through the evening. It's going to be a colder night and an even colder weekend. Talk about sub-zero wind chills on the way for the weekend. Unfortunately, I'll have more on that here in a little bit.
Thank you, Chris. Our top story this half hour are those road conditions. And as Chris mentioned, parts of Delmarva experiencing flurries.
They're giving us a live look outside, and our first alert weather chief is Elisa Weber. Temperature is slightly warmer, but there's still a concern about ice. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. We are taking you down 2nd Street in Lewis right now. The flurries, they actually picked up, say, 15 minutes ago. Right now, it looks like they're about the same as they were when we first talked to you at 5 o'clock. Right now, not too much of a concern with road conditions. This is a good sign, as we don't think any of that flurry is really sticking to the ground. We have lingering snow and ice from last week's storm, but in terms of this morning, the roads, they are good. They are safe to travel with so far, which is a great sign. We do want to point our attention to the salt on the roads. While this is necessary for people to stay safe so that they don't slip, it can be dangerous to dogs. If you have to walk your dog outside as you don't have a fenced-in yard, this is something you need to be mindful of. We did speak with the vet who said while there is pet-friendly salt, oftentimes larger municipalities do not use that salt as they are covering larger areas that they have to plow. She said something you want to be cautious of is making sure salt is not in between your dog's paws. If you can, also use a covering for your dog's feet. She said, we all have to take out our dogs. We have to walk our dogs. A lot of dogs really enjoy being outside, but we just have to be mindful of how long they are staying out there. And here's what she also had to say.
If your dog, especially little dogs or dogs like retrievers that have like hairy feet, you want to make sure when they come in also that they don't have any ice balls in between their feet, because that's going to really hurt. And you need to kind of melt those out of there and take care of them like that. There's some dogs, they don't care, like my Great Dane. She's out there running and doesn't care, it doesn't seem to bother her feet. But we also have to be cognizant.
And she said a good gauge for how long your dog should be outside. It's see how long you could stay outside if you are barefoot. She said she recommends about 10 minutes outside when conditions are really severe with snow and ice and of course that salt. She said if your dog is experiencing irritation, you can use an ointment like Aquaphor. Again, make sure you always clean your dog's paws, even if they are wearing a paw covering. And she also said if you have any major concerns, of course, contact your vet. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa in Lewis. And happening today, Taros Village, which is a tent community for the homeless off Route 1 in Lewis, is going before the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission. From March 15th to December 1st, the area is filled with tents and other amenities, but after the season, organizers say they must pack everything up. Organizers of the village are requesting a change to the current conditional use ordinance so that they can keep items there during the off-season. Taros Village says the goal of keeping items there permanently is to build up this area more, like installing more durable tents that protect people from the elements.
We also brought in water last year, which was really helpful because we had done bottled water drives to provide that, but now we have on-site water amenities, and we intend to bring in electricity so that we can charge devices for our guests, and importantly, a number of our guests are on medical insulin, and that requires cooling, especially during the summer.
The Planning and Zoning meetings takes place this afternoon at 3 p.m.
We have a developing situation in Ocean City. There's a dispute over the residency status for one of its council members.
And the issue has its roots in the 2024 election when the council disqualified Leslie Smith from running.
Council claimed her residency did not meet requirements to run for office. According to council, a member must live in Ocean City for at least 4 months before an election.
Now, Smith claims Tony DeLuca, who won one of the council seats, also does not qualify because he too did not meet the residency requirements.
After initial reporting about this last month, we received a statement from DeLuca, quote, "I am aware of Ms. Smith's challenge to my residency. I have nothing to hide. I look forward to the mayor and city council giving me the opportunity to address this matter openly and candidly. I will rely on the city solicitor and the city manager as the best next steps towards bringing this matter to a conclusion."
Smith says that she plans to run for the Ocean City Council again in 2028. A special meeting addressing this issue is scheduled for this afternoon. That's at 1 p.m.
Cancellations continue for the Cape May Lewis Ferry. A video here from this week of the Delaware Bay. Look at that, just completely frozen over. That's what we've been seeing of late. Ferry is announcing that, again, trips scheduled for this morning, they are not taking place. This is the 8:45 a.m. departure from Lewis, and then the one that's supposed to happen at 7 a.m. from Cape May. Director of the ferry, Heath Gerke, says tugboats are continuing to work to help resume operations.
Happening today, the process of upgrading Millsborough's parks. According to its meeting's agenda, the Parks Committee is expected to discuss a plan for improving town parks. The committee is also set to review possible survey questions and decide which to use. Millsborough's Parks Committee meets in just a few hours from now at 9:30 a.m.
New this morning, Ocean City hosting a cleanup event this weekend. Officials say participants will meet at Northside Park and spend the morning picking up trash throughout the town. Cleanup is open to everyone. Get this, hot chocolate will be provided. A trash weigh-in and celebration will take place at 11:45 a.m. back at the check-in tents. The Winter Green Clean, that's set for Saturday, February 7th from 10 a.m. to noon.
We are now taking a live look into Tucson, Arizona on this Wednesday morning as authorities are investigating possible ransom communications tied to the disappearance of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie's mother. And the Pima County Sheriff's Department says it is aware of reports involving possible ransom notes connected to Nancy Guthrie.
Reed Binion shows us the latest as the search continues for the 84-year-old woman.
I think it's terrible. I think it's a terrible thing.
President Donald Trump on Tuesday weighing in on the disappearance of Today's Show anchor Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mother, Nancy Guthrie.
Would you commit to more federal agents like helping out on the search?
Sure, I would. I'm going to call her later on. I think it's a terrible thing. I always got along very good with Savannah.
Nancy Guthrie's family reported her missing around noon Sunday.
We referenced Nancy, a white female, 84 years of age, 5'2" medium build, private blue. Nancy has high blood pressure, pacemaker, and cardiac issues.
On Tuesday, sheriff's officials said investigators were working through any data that may be available about a pacemaker. The Pima County Sheriff also spoke about samples of DNA from Guthrie's home.
We've submitted all kinds of samples for DNA, and we've gotten some back, but nothing to indicate any suspects.
Meanwhile, at least 2 outlets, including a TV station in Tucson, reported they had received what appeared to be a ransom note. The sheriff was asked about that Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into all that. We are following all leads we have. We are sharing all of our leads with the FBI. They are helping us in evaluating those leads.
In a post on X, the sheriff's department said it was aware of reports involving possible ransom notes in the case, adding in a statement that there was, quote, no credible information indicating this was a targeted incident. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
This just in, President Trump says the federal government should be in charge of elections, taking over a role that the Constitution grants to the states. Some Democrats are calling that an assault on the Constitution, which dictates that the states run elections. This as some Republicans try to clarify what the president meant while pointing to the SAVE Act, Republican bill requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote that the White House said President Trump was referencing.
This is more dangerous autocratic poison from Donald Trump.
Ensuring that only citizens of this country vote in our elections, that's something I think we all agree with.
It's already illegal for non-citizens to vote in federal and state elections. It all comes as President Trump continues to falsely assert the debunked claim that the 2020 election was stolen through widespread fraud.
Got a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Salisbury Police reaccreditation, how the department says people can contribute to the process.
And Southern Strategy, how Maryland Eastern Shore looks to get back into the win column with a roadie tonight at South Carolina State. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
James Albrand answered his nation's call not once, but twice. First serving 4 years in the United States Navy aboard the USS Constellation, including a tour in Vietnam, and then enlisting in the Air Force after a year in the reserves for another deployment to the war zone. His courage was proven beyond doubt while stationed at Anderson Air Force Base in Guam, where he risked his own life by welding a ruptured JP fuel line to ensure B-52 bombers could continue their critical refueling operations during wartime. This selfless act exemplified the quiet heroism that defines those who serve. James Albrand's dedication across 2 branches of the military and his willingness to put mission and fellow service members above his own safety represent the very best of American service.
Spicer Brothers and Coast TV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a Coast TV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
Hope this Wednesday morning is treating you well. Delmarva, halfway there. We're halfway to the weekend. Taking a look into Ocean City, where the temperature is above the freezing mark. We're at 33. We had a round of some light snow and some mixed precipitation pushed through the peninsula overnight, and dropped about a dusting across some portions of the area. And we're tracking mainly dry conditions for the rest of the morning. This energy across Roanoke should pass to the south of the peninsula later this morning. We're at the freezing mark in Georgetown, 31 in Easton, 32 in Harrington. Partly sunny skies through the afternoon today. We get up to the mid to upper 30s across the area, and we're talking about even colder temperatures for the weekend. Below zero wind chills are going to make a return. I'll have details on that full 70 forecast just minutes away.
Thank you, Chris. New this morning, Salisbury Police Department says it will undergo an online assessment as part of its reaccreditation through the Commission of Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. The review will evaluate department policies, procedures, operations, and support services to ensure that they continue to meet national professional standards. The agency says that the process is part of a multi-year effort that includes annual reviews leading up to an on-site assessment in 2028. People can submit comments online through the Commission's public portal.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
In college hoops, the men of Maryland Eastern Shore have suffered setbacks. After their record-breaking 4-0 start to MEAC play, the Hawks dropped 2 straight, including a 2-point loss at North Carolina Central Monday night. But there is a chance to right the ship tonight. Both the men's and women's programs of Maryland Eastern Shore are on the road playing South Carolina State. And although UMES has been on a bit of a downtrend, they do have a winning formula. Get the ball to their bigs, Zion Obanla and Dorian Staples. Obanla, he had 19 points in the season-high 15 rebounds on Monday, and Coach Cleo Hill knows they'll have to lean on him again tonight.
We have some size on this team with LeCandro and Flippin, but down the stretch it seems like that 4-5 combo of Obanla and Staples has been pretty good, something we talked about in non-conference play, but we couldn't use it because of the team size that we played against. But in our league, I think 4 and 5 at times will be pretty good with those 2 guys inside.
Yeah, watch out for Dorian Staples, too. Just as Coach said, he had 14 points in the loss on Monday. Tonight, they're hoping for a winning effort against SC State. Have a great day, Delmarva.
And coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night, 8:30 p.m. Dover hosts Smyrna in boys basketball. Then catch the final score at 10:30. Then you can watch the game we just mentioned on DSN Plus, along with these exclusive wrestling matches. At 5 p.m., Mardella visits Snow Hill. Also at 5 p.m., Kent County takes on North Carolina. And at 6 p.m., Sussex Tech faces Cesar Rodney. And at 6:30, Sussex Central hosts Milford.
You are looking live at Santa Clara, California. That is the site of Super Bowl 60. The New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks are continuing their week in the lead up to the big game, and fans continue to arrive. Kickoff is at 6:30, and coverage on CoastTV is at, sorry about that. Don't forget, Super Bowl airs on CoastTV Sunday, February 8th. Pregame starts at 1. Kickoff is at 6:30. And after all the coverage, stay tuned for Coast TV News.
And entertainment news now. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Hey, wake up. Wake up!
So why are we here, Lucky? It's like anything else. A series of bad decisions over an extended period of time.
Here's your first look at Lucky, starring Anya Taylor-Joy as a con artist on the run. The limited series, based on the novel by Marissa Stapley, debuts on Apple TV July 15th.
We gotta get used to one another. And we can't do that unless we trust each other. I want to win worlds. And I want to win it with you.
Netflix seems to have a winner with Finding Her Edge. The streamer says the figure skating romantic drama has been in its top 10 since debuting last month, and Netflix has renewed the series for a second season.
Brace yourself. The pain is coming. I can taste it. Cut!
Oscar winner Adrian Brody finds his flair for drama unneeded in a Super Bowl spot for TurboTax. He's dismayed to find the company's experts make taxes drama-free. The full ad is due to play just before halftime. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, the good news is, though, after some light snow overnight, we're going to get above the freezing mark this afternoon. The bad news is we're tracking another blast of Arctic air just in time for the weekend. I'll have details coming up after the break.
The time is now 5:49 a.m. as we're taking a live look out into Salisbury. And Chris, we had an exciting thing to wake up to, some snow flurries. I know that made you pretty happy, huh?
Yeah, a little snow on the windshield this morning and dusted that off, and a little coating there on some untreated surfaces. But guess what? It's out of here. It's off the coast already. Just a few flurries we had across Sussex County just a short time ago. And there's another little area of snow pushing across Roanoke that may graze Accomack County, southern portions of the peninsula here over the next few hours, but we are going to see dry conditions. This area of low pressure is going to stay to our south. We're actually going to pick up a couple inches of snow tonight across the Carolinas. But here on Delmarva, we're above the freezing mark in Ocean City, 33, a little at or just below the freezing mark further away from the coast. We're at 32, Georgetown, 31 in Harrington, so watch out for some slick spots out there this morning. Wind, not an issue. That's certainly good news. Not going to be much of an issue through the day today. We'll have more of a northerly wind. Temperatures getting into the mid-30s, mid to upper 30s under partly cloudy skies. 36 in Lewis, 37 in Georgetown, 38 in Ocean City, 37 in Salisbury. So tonight's going to be a colder night under partly cloudy skies. We'll dip into the teens away from the coast, lower 20s at the beaches, and then by Thursday, mostly sunny skies and even colder, as we're only going to have highs struggle to get right around the freezing mark, and then it gets even colder over the weekend. See average high 46. We're pretty much far from that here over the next 5 days. Now, the Arctic front's going to be pushing through Friday, and that will bring about another chance for some light snow showers, maybe even a few snow squalls as we go into Friday evening. And this is a pretty potent cold front, because what it's going to do, it's going to usher in more Arctic air, another reinforcing shot, I should say, and it's going to bring in some pretty powerful winds. We're going to have high pressure building in, an area of low pressure intensifying well offshore, and that tight pressure gradient is going to accelerate winds in excess of 40 to near 50 miles an hour during the day on Saturday, late afternoon through the evening, and that's going to produce some dangerous wind chills for a period of time from Saturday night through Sunday morning. Could go as low as -11, -12 across the area. Your 7-day forecast shows brutally cold air over the weekend, 26 into Saturday, 23 Super Bowl Sunday, overnight lows in the single digits. The good news is the Arctic air doesn't stick around for a week. We're back up to 41 by Tuesday.
Thank you, Chris. Look at this. This is exciting. We are now taking a live look at Milan, Italy. That is live, and the countdown is on as we are just days away from the start of the 2026 Winter Olympics.
Figure skater Amber Glenn will compete at her first Olympics this month, hoping to become the first U.S. woman to medal in singles at Olympics since 2006. The 26-year-old is a 3-time U.S. national champion, a 6-time ISU Grand Prix medalist, and a 5-time ISU Challenger Series medalist. Glenn believes that the high point of her career has overlapped with her best years personally, too, since she came out publicly as bisexual and pansexual in 2019.
It's pressure because I want to do my community and what I represent proud, but it's also reality. I think sometimes people see athletes, and it's gotten better over the years, but they see us when we perform and when we're doing what we've been training for 20 years at, and they expect, athletic perfection. We're just like you, we're human.
Glenn will become the first out woman to figure skate at an Olympics, and according to Outsports, a website that has tracked LGBTQ community athletes since 1999.
And we are closing in on those opening ceremonies. The Winter Olympics are about to begin. You can watch it here, February 6th through the 22nd on Coast TV.
And during the Winter Olympics, Jeopardy is moving to Fox 21. That is from February 9th to February 20th. You can watch Jeopardy there at 7:30 p.m. And the time is now 5:54 a.m. Matt Pensick, it is time to check in with our Coastal Pet of the Day.
Yeah, today's Coastal Pet of the Day is royalty because on your screen, if you check it out right now, you will see Princess Fiona enjoying the very cold weather. Princess Fiona was submitted to us by Pamela in Lincoln.
Hey, that makes one of us on the coast enjoying this cold weather. We want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. You send us photos, tell us what makes them so special. If you take a look at your screen now.
Check that QR code, scan it, top center of your screen to get your friends to Coast TV News, and then watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature. And we're bringing back First Alert meteorologist Chris Masterbono. A little bit of snow greeting us in these early morning hours.
Yeah, just like that, it's off the coast. Waking up to a little dusting there on your windshield this morning. A little slick spots out there. Temperatures are hovering right around the freezing mark, so use some caution this morning. 37 this afternoon under partly sunny skies. Cold and dry for the rest of the week. Watching for the chance of snow by Friday evening with some snow showers and maybe even a few snow squalls. By the weekend, behind the Arctic front, well, the cold air returns in a big way. The big story over the weekend is going to be the wind chills. We're talking about sub-zero wind chills. In fact, we may see some of the most brutal wind chills we've seen so far this season, Saturday night into Sunday. But the good news is it's a short-lived Arctic blast because we're back up into the 40s by the middle part of next week.
Okay, thank you, Chris. And coming up in our next hour, credentials questioned. Why residency requirements for members of the Ocean City Council has led to controversy. That and more when we continue with Coast TV News today.